Injury is one of the last things you want as an athlete, but given the demands of our sport, they're pretty common. So today we're joined by professional triathlete Mark Buckingham, who has unfortunately had his fair share of injuries.
I think I've been lucky enough not to have loads, but I've had two really big ones that have put me out for 2 years. So I had all of 2009 out and all of 2016. So yeah, I've done 24 months of injury.
Well, yeah, clearly you've got a fair bit of experience in this, both in terms of preventing, managing and returning from injury. So we'd love to pick your brains on this. First of all, I guess it's that first stages of the injury, the acceptance stage.
Yeah, and acceptance, I think, is the most important part as well. Because you can't move on from an injury or start rehabbing until you've gone, okay, yeah, I'm injured, I need to seek medical advice, I need to stop what I'm doing, and I need to, get healthy again. And without that, none of that happens unless you're willing to take the...
And I guess it is hard if you've got a big race in mind. It's tough to... call it quits and back off.
It is, especially if you've, the race is abroad and you've paid for the flight and the accommodation, you still want to go, and it's your A race of the season and you can't quite do it, but it's not going to be your last race. There's still loads of races that you can do.
But I mean, I've been there with illness as well, and it's like you can limp along and maybe not make it to the race, whereas if you accept it early on, you might actually have a chance of getting to the race or not making the niggle a full-on injury.
Yeah, I mean, we use the phrase nip it in the bud, and you want to do that as soon as possible because it might just be, a little niggling injury that doesn't turn into a, catastrophic one that puts you out for months. But, put your feet up for a few days might be all it takes.
Okay, so next stage, the rehab.
So the rehab is the next big important stage. You've got to do it. You've got to go and see the proper medical professional to do it because they sit down with you, work out where the weaknesses come from or the injuries come from. It could be an underlying weakness that you didn't know you had, and so they're going to sit down and plan, your next few weeks and months of rehab.
So you're talking like strengthening. And conditioning.
Yeah, I mean, a key thing that we see with a lot of people is that they've got issues that they didn't know they had, and they need to work on them.
So in a way, it could be a bit of a blessing in disguise. Although an injury seems like a horrible thing at the time, you could actually be improving something.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I saw this like 2 years ago with Johnny Brownlee. He got a stress fracture in his leg, realised that he's got other weaknesses that caused that problem, worked on them, smashed his rehab, smashed his prehab, so never getting injured again, and then came back with Olympic medal from it.
He's done all right from it.
Yeah, he did. So, and it's things like that I see like week in, week out in Leeds, where my training base is, with other athletes who pick up niggles and stuff, and then they sit down with the right people and they say, right, you need to do this for the rest of your career to stop you getting injured.
You touched on prehab with Johnny, so what is that?
Yeah, so prehab, that's basically injury prevention. You need to be doing this all year round. You'll work out what strengthening exercises work best for you and areas to target. Like for me, I've got really weak glutes, so I've got to do quite a lot on that. So I have the same gym routine week in, week out now, just to enable me to stay injury free.
Okay, so you've got a ton of time freed up now because you can't train, you're injured, ill, whatever. What do you do with it?
Yeah, well, I think that's always the hard one. A lot of people, all they've got is, triathlon, especially the professionals. That's all we do, just do triathlon all the time. Or you've got, triathlon and work. But there's no sort of middle ground. There's nothing else to fill your time with. But if you take a step back and go, okay, there's the rest of the world to go and see. Let's go see some of it, then you can do it.
So what have you done in those circumstances?
So when I had my Achilles operation, I was 6 months post-surgery, still not able to run. I was doing a little bit of biking and swimming, but the physio and doc says I can walk. So I decided to walk up Ben Nevis, and then same month did the 3 Peaks, which is probably not the most appropriate thing to do in January in the cold months. But
well, maybe, if you couldn't run, for instance, would you spend that time on more swimming?
Yeah, definitely. I think you've got to capitalise on those periods out of, not being able to run, and you can pick up your 2 other disciplines. And for me, swimming's my big weakness. So, a lot of the time I spent doing an extra 10K a week of swimming. And, a lot of people could go out and do that same, just shift your hours into a different discipline and work on them, get your power up, get your swim technique better. That's the beauty of triathlon. And
Right.
we say it a lot.
Okay, so what about returning to sport?
So I think you want to do this bit as slowly as possible. I know my physio said I probably rushed into it a little bit, but I think what you want to try and do is remove yourself from the competitive element of a group. Me at the Leeds Triathlon Centre, I've got Olympians, Olympic medalists around me, and sometimes that does beat you down when you're unfit, coming back from an injury. They're all flying and winning races, and you're just struggling. So you need to take yourself away from that a little bit and maybe do a bit of training on your own. But it's good to have people around you. Everyone's been injured. Never forget that you're not going to be the first injury out there. Everyone's been through it. So it's important to just take time and not rush back too quick. 'Cause otherwise, you'll probably get the injury back as soon as it's gone.
Okay, so what about the rest of the race season?
Well, the race season, I wouldn't book any races in until your coach, physio, medical staff has said to you, you're good to race. I just wouldn't go there because I think it's counterproductive. As soon as you pencil in a race, that's all you can have your mindset on, and all that rehab that you've done and all the careful control planning you've done goes out the window, and you're just gonna, stitch yourself up really, and you could get injured again. So I think just wait until your body's ready and don't stress about it too much. Enjoy the time off.
All right, well, thanks very much, Mark. That was really interesting. And if you are struggling with injury right now, definitely listen to his wise words.
It's not all that bad. If you are suffering from injury, maybe add a comment below. You'll probably find someone with a similar injury.
And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And to see more great videos like this, just click on the globe to subscribe to GTN.
Click here for the Mythbuster Triathlon video,
Which has got Mark in it. And to see a body maintenance video with Heather, just click down here.